This is the most basic life and death Go problem. If you played through any Go tutorial, you've probably seen this one, and you know that the only way for black to live is to play b6, creating 2 eyes. But we can create much harder problems from this same shape of black stones by just moving them a little bit further away from the corner. So let's start by moving it one step to the right. Still very easy, but a little more to think about. There's still only one correct move for black to live here. If you try c6, which is similar to the last problem, creating an eye at d6, then white will push in like this. And now black cannot create an eye at b6. This is a false eye, white captures a single stone, and black is going to die. So instead black has to find this move, which maximizes the eye space, makes 4 in a row, and now black can make 2 eyes no matter where white plays inside. So still pretty easy, but a little more things to think about. Let's make it harder. Now we move the stones 1 row down. For this one, it's good to think not only about what's the correct move for black, but also think about why do the other moves not work? What's the correct way to refute all the wrong black moves? So the correct move is b6, and this way black is alive with a similar 4 shape like in the last problem. Even though it's bent now, it's the same problem. Same problem for white, that no matter where white plays inside, black can make 2 eyes. And if black tries something else, let's look maybe first at maximizing the eye space like we did in the last problem. Now white can jump in here, go down, and it looks maybe like black could play here to make 2 eyes, but black is short on liberties, so now white captures all the stones. And if black is forced to play here, well, now it's just that. So this doesn't work. White should be careful in this shape not to play this one, because that allows black to create this ko. Black has some chances to live here if black had found a ko threat elsewhere on the board. Let's pretend there was some move elsewhere on the board that white had to respond to, then black could take back, and now black had a chance to live here. So in this shape, white should play this one, not this one. If black makes the bulky 5 shape, white just takes the vital point in the middle. This is dead. If black takes this point, white comes in here, and we come back to the same ko like before. So not the worst move for black, not as bad as dying outright, but since there is a way to live outright, black should of course take that. One last thing to mention about this position is that there's an interesting endgame to Suji here. If you play the normal move, black gets 4 points. If you play here, black has to play this one. This is the only way to live. If black plays here, black is dead. If black plays here, black is also dead. You see that black can't play d6 here. So black has to play this, white can Atari, and if black doesn't want a ko here, which would be hard to fight, then black is now reduced to 3 points. So white reduced 1 extra point, but it's not always better to play this way, because pushing in is sente. White gets to continue playing elsewhere on the board, while when playing this way, white has to play the last move, so black gets the next move to play elsewhere on the board. So normally, it doesn't really matter which one of these you play, you don't gain extra points by playing b5, but it's still cool to know about this decision. Let's make it a bit harder. We go 1 step to the right. Again, there's only one correct move here. If you think you see several solutions, stop and think about why is one of them better than the other. So there are actually 2 ways to live, but only one of them lives with points, the other lives in seki. So if black plays b6, white can simply push in, there's nothing more fancy white can do, black is alive with 5 points. You can check that there's nothing happening after, for instance, a5. There's just nothing that white can do inside here. So this is alive with 5 points. If black plays c5, similar idea, hoping that white just pushes in, leaving black with 5 points, then white can play here. And now it's going to be seki. So black blocks here, white comes in here, and it's a seki. Black can never capture these 3 stones, because if black took the time to, let's say black plays elsewhere, if black goes in for the kill for the 3 stones, well then white just captures, but white also can't capture black, because that creates a 4 shape, which we know is alive. So this is, both stones are alive, but black doesn't have any points. so it's not as good as this other way. And if you try anything else, for instance, this one, there's going to be trouble when white just pushes inside like this. And maybe there are other ways here too, like it depends a bit on, maybe this move is better, but black should choose this one to live completely. Okay, let's make it even harder. Again, only one correct move for black. See if you can find it. If you try to just get as much eye space as possible, then white can just push in. Black can't block here, white captures one stone, not nearly enough space. And if you back off, well, this is just dead. So that doesn't really work. Black should be a bit more, go back a bit to have more support in the corner. Now when white jumps in the corner here, we can get a seki shape like this. This last move threatens to throw in at c6, creating a ko. White goes down, and this creates a seki. Black can't approach a6 or a4, would be self-atari, and black can't connect here because then everything dies. Strictly speaking, white should throw in here first. Now if black wants to avoid the ko, black needs to capture. And then white goes down, black plays here, white ataris, and now white got to create the seki in center. In the previous variation, white needed to take the last liberty, so black got the next move, but now white has the next move to play elsewhere on the board. And maybe you're thinking that black could resist like this, but now white plays here, and this is again, this is threatening to play a6, which would actually, maybe this would also be fine, let's see. So if black responds, then it's a simple seki. If black plays elsewhere, white plays here. I think technically this is now a 1000-year ko, right? If black plays, black can't connect it, it's a bulky 5. And if black plays elsewhere, white can capture, black can play anything, and now white could start a ko here. So it's a very hard ko for white to fight, but it's technically a ko there. So it's better for black to, let's see, in this way, if black wants to avoid any ko, black has to take the last move still. Okay, that's a really small detail. The main thing is just to see this kind of seki shape here. If black tries this one instead, looks like it also might live. White jumps in here, and this is actually just dead. If black tries this one, it looks like a 4 in a row like before, but now when white takes this point, black can take a4, because black is short on liberties. And if black tries this one, creating a secure eye on a6, now white can sneak in here. Black can't cut this stone off, so this is just dead. So the only correct move here is c5. It only lives in seki, but since there's no way to live with points, that's the best black can do. Now, final level, the hardest one. See if you can find the only correct move for black to live. The correct move is c5. And we can see this as taking the point that if black tried some really stupid move like a3, white would be able to jump all the way in here. This is connected back to these stones. So it's sort of black taking that point away from white. And it's also protecting here against a3, allowing black to set up a block here with a good shape. If you compare with a move like d5, now when white pushes in, it's a bit more annoying. Black can maybe jump back here, but now it's very hard for black to avoid a ko. Black kind of has to go for something like this. White can take this. This stone can connect either to the left or to the right here. So black can create a ko like this. This is not the best for black. So in this way, there's really no way for white to kill. You can see black is alive like this. So it's not so hard to see that this move lives. The really hard thing is to see why this move doesn't live. This requires some more reading. There are two ways for white to create a ko here, but you also have to see which of the kos is better. So let's first look at this one, which is maybe the easiest to understand. It's just, again, it's connected back to these stones, which is annoying for black. Black can do this and Atari, but white is not going to connect. White is going to create this ko shape. But notice that even if white has a ko threat, black has this local ko threat here. So this ko is not super easy for white to fight. So there is a better cove for white, which is to play a5. This is quite a tricky move to find. If black plays here, we come back to the similar cove like before. And if black plays here, most natural, then white has c5. And black needs to try to disconnect this stone, but now white has this Atari. Black can capture the cove, but if we imagine white has one cove threat, then white takes back, and now black is dead. So this way, if we imagine that white only had one cove threat to spare, then a5 would be the only way to play here. This is the better cove for white. And to avoid that, black should play c5. Now you're probably wondering what happens if we continue moving further to the right, further down. Many of the next ones are either completely dead, or they are co-even with best play from black, so they are kind of less interesting. Also, it gets sort of too hard at a certain point. But these first 6 all have one unique best move for black. Either only one move lives, or we saw in one case there was one which lives with points, one which lives without points. So pretty clear that there's a unique best move in each case. I think that's pretty cool that from the same basic shape, you can create 6 different problems which are all sort of instructive in their own way. Hope you liked this video. Thank you for watching.